welcome back to my channel. My name is Molly and I am so grateful to have you here. So today I wanted to talk about just one transit, more of a long-term transit because it involves two planets that move relatively slowly, so it's going to be something that is looming over us for a while. I shouldn't say looming because it's not a bad thing, but something that's going to be affecting us for a little while. So I wanted to just spend a little bit of time talking about what I think and the kind of lessons and things that might come up during this transit. So I'm talking about Jupiter and Pluto being in a sextile. And for those of you who are astrology novices, a sextile is an aspect, it's a positive aspect between two planets that are in different elements, but elements that get along with each other. So that would be air and fire or water and air. And so while these are two different elements that have their own, unique qualities, they do have a way to come together and play off each other's energy and work together. So what does that mean for Jupiter and Pluto? Well, and by the way, this is happening with Jupiter being in Scorpio, which is the sign that is ruled by Pluto. So this is a pretty intense and powerful combination that's going on. So what does this mean? Well, Jupiter is the planet of our beliefs. It's a very positive planet, and being in the sign of Scorpio, what are the most deepest, most, significant foundational beliefs that we have? Maybe things that we are sometimes ashamed to talk about because Scorpio can be a little bit shady and weird, and sometimes people don't want to talk about Scorpio stuff, Scorpio also has to do with the eighth house of, death, sex, and taxes, weird stuff that people don't like to talk about. So having Jupiter be in this sign, and Jupiter is in each sign for about a year. So Jupiter moving through this space is forcing us to examine these things that maybe we wouldn't normally like to think about. And what do we really think about some of these topics, and what are the beliefs that structure our lives that are so deep and foundational that, ignoring them is not going to help, and bringing them to light could really give us a sense of power. And of course, Pluto is power. Pluto is a very powerful planet and rules, this kind of raw power that comes from deep within us. So these two planets are in a positive aspect, meaning that they're going to play off each other. We're going to be able to discover this raw power that we have through bringing to light these beliefs and ideas and being able to apply them to our lives in such a way that we can enact, amazing change. We can really make some shit happen in our lives. Having that kind of raw power. And another part of that is acknowledging things from our past, and not just our past, maybe things we've done in the past, but things that are still affecting us now, habits and, kind of belief structures that we have now, that maybe we view as a negative thing, but being able to find power in overcoming those things and being able to transform ourselves through overcoming those things, and thus being able to transform, the experience around us, our human experience, by viewing these things with positivity and optimism and recognizing that they are a source of power. One example I can think of is somebody who maybe struggled with a really terrible drug addiction, and that's some dark and shady shit that they probably, didn't want to talk about for a long time. They tried to hide it from everybody in their life. And when they were able to recognize, fuck, I need to get my life together, and they were able to overcome that addiction, and now that's this source of power in their lives. Like, look what I can do. I overcame something impossible, something so hard, something that I thought I would never dig myself out of. I was able to do that. So I can do anything at this point. Now I can tackle anything, and I will be able to overcome it and accomplish anything that I want to accomplish. That's the kind of raw power I'm talking about here. And so I just think it's such a blessing after some of the tough transits that we've all been through, especially the freaking eclipses that were happening through the summer. Being able to have an opportunity to look at where this raw power comes from and how we can apply it more directly and channel it into our endeavors in our life and use it to do good. Use it to, kick ass and be able to help others too, being able to be a teacher to others who maybe are in the middle of whatever it is that we've already dug ourselves out of. That's what's so cool about it, is once you're able to overcome something and conquer it, then you can be an inspiration to others to help them do the same. And that's what I think is the main lesson of this transit. And, I shouldn't say lesson, the main blessing. It might be a lesson for some, it might be something that brings up some of the more challenging emotions and feelings associated with that thing that we've overcome, or those kind of thoughts and beliefs that we're, trying to hide in the closet. But in an ultimately positive way, because we'll be able to recognize the power within those things. And what's so cool is when the new moon happens on September 9th, it's going to be aspecting both Jupiter and Pluto, positively aspecting. So we can really channel this power that we have and these triumphs and, beliefs. We can channel them into some new seed that we want to plant. The new moon is a time of beginnings and setting intentions for things that you want to bring into your life. So doing so while being able to channel this power that you are now recognizing that you have within you, that's so cool. That's something that we don't, this is something that not every new moon brings us. Not every new moon has this kind of power, like personal power associated with it. So I think on the 9th, it's going to be kind of a culmination of the transit that's going to be going on, through this beginning of September, and even after the new moon through the end of Virgo season. But I really think that the new moon on the 9th is going to be the ultimate apex of this transit, in the time when we really need to do some moving and shaking and decide how we're going to apply that power to our life. So those are my thoughts on this Jupiter and Pluto transit, this sextile. And I hope that you're able to use this information and see, what it is in your life that you could really, what's this power that you could tap into, and what could you accomplish with it. And I hope that it inspires you to take a look and see what that is. So I'm so grateful that you watched this video. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you next time.